Well, hello. Welcome back to the grind. Anybody new? Welcome to the grind. Here I am. This is what is it? 1976 BMW 2002 that I've been struggling away on. Anyway, this week, the motor got in last week, but now this week I finally got the transmission in, and for that I had to put this fan and stuff on here, install the radiator, and get these hoses here routed properly. Also made a couple of battery clamps and made a strap to go from the body to there, and a battery clamp from right here to the negative, which would be there. Anyway, that being done, though the what else went on? Mostly it was getting the transmission back together. And, well, just getting the transmission back together is only putting the torque converter onto the front of it with the proper seal and a little rebuild kit thing. I'll show that. You'll see that as we go along. Anyway, and then, well, last week there was, on my email there was I send out an email to a bunch of friends that, and I know enjoy watching this stuff, or I hope they enjoy it. Do you enjoy it? I hope so. Anyway, whether you like it or not, you get it. But the email, I got a couple of replies on it, and then it sort of took on a life of its own with lots of good comments. So it was kind of fun to follow through on that. So anyway, that's good for everything. And so if you stick around to see how I made out, it's not the easiest job in the world to get that transmission into there. Would have been easier if I had had a transmission lift. But all I have is, this is what I have, is a table and a bunch of 4x4 or 6x6 logs. But it's up there, and it seems that everything worked. This was a challenge, getting the starter motor in. That was a big challenge. You stick around to watch that, or not, or skip over it because it's one of them things. Anyway, I ran the motor off the starter motor a bunch just to get the fluid all into the transmission, circulated into the transmission, and it seems to be it's pretty full now, and hey, there's no leaks anywhere, so that's a good sign. Well, that's a sign anyhow. So stick around, see what happened, and enjoy it all. See you next time. Bye. Well, okay. Yeah, there's waiting for a few parts to arrive, but I'll take a look at this stuff and just see if it needs any repairs. And it actually looks like it's not in bad shape. Might have to do a little bit more taping on it, but otherwise we're okay. I'll just start going through it, and if I find anything bad, I'll show it to you. Okay, so far I'm one roll of tape into it. I'm just going through and retaping the whole loom, because half the tape is rotten, and just pull off the old stuff and put on some new stuff. This, I know where this goes. This goes up by the dashboard. I know where those wires are. So that kind of gives me an idea where this lives. Don't know where that lives, but I do know that, well, where is it? Ah, this. Here we are, sorry. This is the ignition switch thing, and I've only found 2 wires on the whole thing that are suspect so far. This one here has got don't know what happened there, but I'll take that apart and recrimp it with a bare crimp, and then put some heat shrink on it, and that'll be good. Then all these, where am I here, like a connection like this thing here, I take that apart, then I put some grease on them, like synthetic grease on the connections there, and then just push it back and forth a couple of times. And they seem to be all right, like all these connections. I just clean them up a bit and put them back together. They don't, there's no corrosion on lots of them, but there is corrosion on some of them. Anyway, I'll carry on. There, I like these little solderless, or what, they don't have any insulator on them, those crimped, and then I just put a piece of this over it, and I'll heat gun it, and that'll be that. Hang on, I'll be done with it. Yeah, Wi-Fi non-insulated butt connectors. That's what they are. And there's, you know, little tiny ones there. This is the size I used for this. And there's the bigger ones, right? Bigger and bigger. Likely I'll never use those big ones, but I've got them. 20 of each. Well, 50 of the little guys, and 20 of the big guys, and 10 of the big guys. Anyway, they work pretty good. And then they come out with a, after it's heat shrinked, it's just, you know, there's no, it doesn't make the wire bulky. There you go. So now I'll just finish taping up this loom here, and then this half will be done. Got to do that half over there. And this is the wire that connects the two of them. Anyway, that's coming along. Yeah, there's the end I thought I was done with, but it actually isn't. It was just tangled into that one there. That's the goes in the motor side of the thing, like in the engine bay, and there's a connector right over there that goes through, so I imagine there's going to be a plug over here that'll plug into it. We hope so. Anyway, this bit here still on the original loom, so I've used over a roll of tape to do that part, so I'll just carry on and finish up this little bit here. So far everything looks pretty good. Yeah, the next little, I don't know what they're for, but a couple of relays here. Now they're both like 8086 relays, or you know, the normal relays, but these ones are 5-pin, and this one only on this side here only requires 4 pins. So the 5th pin wasn't working on this one, and it was plugged into this side, so I just changed it over and put that this 5th pin I was working on this one, so I just switched them over, and hopefully that'll solve the problem. I don't know if there was a problem, but this one here definitely takes 5 pins. And when the 5th pin is, so when energy gets to, when there's key on energy to this, then, or when there's energy put to that relay, then it opens up pin number, like here's, I don't know if you can see this, 36 and 30, I think, or 36 and 87. When there's no energy on it, it connects 87A and 36, and that will make so that so when there's no energy to it, something else runs. I don't know what runs, but something should run. Anyway, that's all there is to that. Relays. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, so I've been through the whole thing and just taped it out, retaped everything. Now I know what you're going to say. When I go to Pebble Beach, they're going to dock me points for having the wrong kind of tape on the loom. But that's what I have on hand. Anyhow, but all the other connectors are pretty good. 3 problems in the wiring. One right here. This is the main connection to the battery for the loom, and pretty poor bit of crimping there, so I'll fix that. Put a new end on it. And there were, on that side over there, there were 2 wires that were, one at the ignition that was broken, and one somewhere, don't know where it was, but it was not even broken, it was just the wire was skinned. And so I taped it up with waterproof tape, and then I put electrical tape over it. Okay, so I'll fix this, I'll show you, and that'll be, I'll fix this, where is it? Right there. I'll show you that, and then I'll be done for the day. Yeah, so that's crimped on. I got this thing here. You lift up the anvil there, put the wire and thing in there, and then give it a light tap. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all set to go into the car now. As far like I tested all the relays. These round ones here are just normal, like 8680, 8685 relays. So that, I bet you that had a round one there before and somebody changed it. The only relay that was in any way a problem was I think this one, and it didn't, like the fifth pin wasn't working, but the fifth pin was working on this one, so I switched it over to here. These two are switched around now. They're all normal Bosch relays, and I checked the, I didn't check this, but I did clean it up, and that's headlight switch. What else is in there? And then I think this thing here, I think that's a voltage regulator. I could take the top off that and have a look and see, but that's what I think it is. Maybe I will. I'm just curious. Yeah, there, whatever it is, it's got a great big top on it. Make it look like an old-time voltage regulator, but it sure doesn't need a big top on it. Just so the form factor was built, 50 years ago, and they just put the new electronics into the like they just baked it in there. Isn't that something? So a couple of transistors and a heat sink, and that's all it is for a voltage regulator, I believe. Anyway, that's good enough. Put that back together and that'll be fine. Anyway, that's pretty well 2 rolls of tape went into all that, and I was pleasantly surprised at how good a shape it's in. Like none of the wires are cracked, none of the wires felt hard, like just everything's good. That's what happens when you get a car from Vancouver, because Vancouver's got a pretty nice climate. Not too much salt around there. Oh, okay, now finally from Rock Auto, I've got the proper seal for that. Wait a minute, I'll show you. See if I can find out which one it is. Not that one. That one there is pretty wide, pretty thick. Anyhow, the it will fit on there pretty tight. And then I've also got what they call a repair sleeve. I don't know if it'll go down that far or not, but we'll see. That's pretty good. Whoops. Don't want to lose that spring out of there. Anyway, over there, I'll put that on that part, put a lot of grease on it, and then see if I can very carefully get this into it. I got 2 of them because you know how I do like doing things twice. I only have 1 of those repair sleeves, but I think that one will likely do it. Just see how it works out. I don't think I really needed the repair sleeve, I just needed the right. This one here fits well. These Timken ones that I ordered Timken ones. Where are they? Here they are. These ones here that I ordered are like, they just touch on the repair sleeve. Not a great seal, and on the old part they're loose like the other ones were. So the repair sleeve does make a difference there. The new ones would have worked on the repair sleeve as long as you got it to the right spot, eh? Which I don't know where the right spot is sometimes. Okay, anyway, but here, like you can see that moves there, but on the repair sleeve it's not perfect, but it's not bad. It would likely not leak. Don't know how much pressure's on that. So I'm glad to have these other ones that came from Rock Auto that seem to be the right size. Okay, I'll see about getting it together. I'll show you. Yeah, there, I've got that sleeve on there, and I've got that greased up. I don't know. Who knows, eh? And then this, I don't know, can you see in here? Let me get a light. Where's my light? There it is. See, that seal there sits a bit proud, like I've got it banged in all the way. It's a bit thicker than the old seal, and the old seal would just sit right flush with the flush there. Anyway, I guess I'll put it together and see what happens. I'm not sure how tight that that sits on there. I imagine a little bit of play back and forth because of the way things are. We'll wait and see. I'll put it on and just check it out. So I'm going to tip up that end of the, like, tip that up, end up, and then I won't lose all the fluid out of here when I tip it in. So I'll see if I can get that to come together. Yeah, I guess that's pointing the right way. We'll just see what happens here. Oh yeah, there we go. There's lots of it out there. Well, that seems to. In there now. Didn't lose very much. Well, there you go. Just wipe up that bit of fluid here. Is it right? I don't know. But we can try it out and see what happens. Seems to turn all right. That's good. Now, a little bit of fluid down here. I'll get some paper towel for that down here. Didn't lose too much. Lost some. Anyway, now next is to try and get it into there. Yeah, looks like I'm destined to make a mess anyhow, because that's the line for the oil cooler there, and it's dripping out of there. So once this gets dripped down to a level where it doesn't drip anymore, it'll be fine. So I put a bit of grease on. I cleaned that off, put a bit of grease on there, and where it goes into the motor, which is up here, I put grease in there. This is all set to go. Now I wonder if it should be, I wonder if it should have a lock washer on those. Oh, and I found the bolts that are supposed to be there. These ones here. They won't go and pierce anything. I don't know if they're supposed to put a washer on. There was no washer on any of these. Don't know if they're supposed to have one. Maybe I'll put like a crush lock washer on them of some sort. That wouldn't hurt on them, I'm sure. And then I'll put Loctite on them as they go in. So, but don't leave them there right now, because that's a bad spot for them. I'll just put them right there. Find some washers, and then that'll be good. Yeah, here we go. Me and my mess. So it's just oozing oil. And it's got to go into there. So what I'll do is I'll let the motor down, let the car down onto it here, and just see how close I get. Hang on. Move some stuff out of the way. And be a bit careful about what I'm doing here. I got lots of light there anyhow. So here it goes. Let's see what happens. Just have to go up a notch to undo the locks, right? Then we'll let it down and see what happens. See if it's anywhere near. I think I'm ready. That's in, right? And that's turning. I want that right around there somewhere. Then the first two bolts are that one and the one over there, which are those two I have over there. And they go up right here and here. That and over there somewhere. If I get those two in and get it snugged in, I'll be home free. But we'll just wait and see how this goes. Here it comes down. Car is coming down. Car comes down a bit quicker now that it's got weight. Now let's see how that's going to line up, if at all. Oh dear, it's hard to get underneath there. Okay, so I gotta go forward a bit here. Round about there. Whoops. Round about there. I'll just leave you right here, will I? Wait a second. Oh dear, too many stuff in the way. Here. See what you tell me when it gets to the right spot there. Getting close, eh? This back here out of the way. Don't want to get it too far out of the, like, anyway. That'll come off there pretty easy anyhow, so I'm all right. Okay, down it comes some more. Whoops, you're getting hit. Oh, got a bit tight squeeze in there, eh? Tight squeeze. Okay. I'll just think it's a, well, a little bit tight fit down here now. That goes ahead a bit more, right? About there. Close, but not a win, because I gotta go back up and get this into the right spot. It should be above that rack there instead of below it. And it's gotta go ahead a bit more. See what's up here. Okay, I'll just see how I can get this sorted out. Yeah, I guess when all else fails, read the book. See what the book says. Hey? Oh dear, not going in very easily yet. Oh, look at that, eh? It's up. Now I've got these two bolts holding it here. That transmission mount, I need to replace that. So that'll be down the road somewhere, down the trail. I've got that bolt in. That bolt sort of started, and nothing else holding it. But that'll hold it for the night, because I think I'm done for the day. That was hard work. Lots of fiddling around. Eventually I figured out that, see, this bar was in the way of pushing it forward. And watch this. See how much that moves when you do the wheels? So I just turned the wheels, and then that allowed it to move forward far enough. So I better put a bucket underneath here, because that's going to keep on dripping for the night, or a day or two, or until I get it finished putting the radiator in, I guess. Anyway, there we are. Okay, that's enough for today. I'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow, perhaps. Okay, here I am back at it. New day. Now, up there I got 3 or 4 bolts in there now, so it's solidly mounted to the motor. Haven't got any more than that done. But this part here, the up here there's a motor mount goes right there. It used to look like that, right? Or it used to look like that. Now that's disappointing when that happens. But over here, just so happens, so I have these things here, which, you know, temporarily I'll use this unless it works, and then I'll just keep on using it. But that's had to extend this out a little bit so I get a nut on it, and that part there, that pillar bolt, I just drilled that out and rethreaded it to M8 125s, and so now I'll see if I can stick it back together and see if it's any good. There we go. That's up. Now this is the new motor mount in. Now, like I said, that's only temporary unless it works. And if it works, I'll just be fine. But it seems to be working so far. That's cool. Anyway, now 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts holding this on. I'm going to let it down and see what I can get from the top. One way over there that I think I reach from the top. And then I'll see if I put the starter in and get the starter bolts in. That'll make it good and solid. Okay, coming down. Oh, right there. Put that bolt in. Over here on the head, there's a marker here, E12. Now, E12, I read about that in the book. There's something important about that. Maybe I'll get the book out and read it a bit, just take a break here. I'm going to put it back up again because I think I'll put those bolts are in. I won't put the starter motor on until such time as I get the torque converter bolted to the flywheel part. Okay, that's what's coming up next. I have to put it back up for that. Yeah, there's number 2, and I just turn it over. I've got a wrench on the crank up here. I had a wrench on the crank. It's sort of a two-handed operation sometimes. There's the next one. And you get the bolt, a little bit of this blue stuff on it. Now, I could be more, it could be a bit neater with that idea, right? But that'll likely do. See if we can get it in here. Now I'm going to go around and torque these later after I get them all in. But because I had cleaned up all those threads in the torque converter, they go in pretty nice and easy. Then a 1/2" wrench will sit on there. Whoop, that's 9/16. This one. I'll have to get a wrench that'll fit in there tighter to snug them down. Anyway, that's the idea. I'll get number 4 in there, and then I'll figure out how to torque them. Yeah, now if you turn the motor over so that the bolt is right there, then it's got about a 1/4 inch of different play on that. Then you can get this wrench on it and tighten it up good. So that's number 4 done. I'm going to just go back and double check them all. And they've all got Loctite on them. So we hope it's going to be okay. Yeah, torque converter bolts are in, and then I put this dust cover on here. Then over here, I don't know if you can see this, but up there, weird bracket that hooks on here somehow. This is as good as I can figure it. Must be for running those cables up. Don't know, but it'll become apparent as we go along. Now, this thing here, I had found one of the little spacers, And here's the other little spacer. Now I got to find the other spacer. Yeah, there I put the exhaust pipe hanger on. Wonder if that's upside down. Don't know. I think it's supposed to sit like that. Might be supposed to sit the other way. We'll find out when the exhaust pipe goes on, I guess. Like if we turned it over and around, would it go? I don't think it'd go. It's adjustable this way, back and forth. Okay, well, we'll just see. I had to do some thinking about how to get these hoses on here. That's the hoses for the transmission cooler. Come up to the front. Now originally the easiest way to go is right through there, right? Because that's nice and open. But then I noticed there's an exhaust pipe there. So that's likely not a good place to put transmission cooling lines. So they go on this side over here, over the steering box. And that funny bracket that I was putting on there, that's holds onto the transmission cooling lines. How do you like that? So now they're just on there loose right now, and I'll get things routed properly. I think they go right there, and then they go behind the air pump somehow. So I might have to, I wonder if it's supposed to go behind here somewhere. I'll take a look from above. It might have to go right through there and then out that underneath the whatever you call that thing. Oh dear me, the battery box. I'll just take a look and see from above where there might be a hole there at the bottom that's available for them to go through. Anyway, there, that's okay. And that's it for today. The transmission's in, this exhaust hanger's in. I haven't tightened these bolts yet, or I haven't tightened the motor mount bolt yet, because it says to not do that until after you get the prop shaft on. So that'll be down the road. And there's the radiator there. So that will be, I'll have to put that in so I can put fluid into the transmission. And then I'll turn it over with the starter a bunch, see if I can get the fluid to circulate through the whole thing. Hey, haven't got the starter on yet, but I'll get there. Yeah, there I just stuck the battery in here just to see if it'll fit after I routed these things here through here. A little bit of a tight fit through there, but oh, maybe I could do that, it'll work better. Yeah, that works. Then I think the battery fits in there fine. Wait a minute till I just check it out. Yep, no, it's got to go over a bit more. So that one cable there is in a bad spot. Hang on, we'll try it again. Oh. Up and down, up and down. That can't be there. It's got to be further in, which is right in there like that. But, oops, pointing the wrong way. A little bit of a tight fit right there. I don't know what to do about that. I suppose I could do a little bit of body work on that and take it to make it a bigger hole. Like you have to worry about that if it starts rubbing, eh? Vibrating and rubbing. When it's like that, it fits in fine, the battery. And it's underneath the thing that holds it. Over on this side, it's held down good. Okay. Well, think about this. Yeah, there. This is what radiator's in. Wonder if I'll be able to get the fan on there. I guess we'll find out. Anyhow, I think it'll go on. Don't know. Don't even know how it's held on there. Oh yeah, there's screw holes there. Okay. Anyway, later might have to take the radiator out to get the fan in. But first, maybe I'll get the fan and see if it'll go on there. These hoses here are routed through here. Routed, put through here. Maybe they go up like that high. Hey, I might just put a holder on it up about here to hold them to there. That'd be a good thing to do, I think. Okay, anyway, but the hoses are there. I'll get them hooked on over there before I make any final decisions on the routing. And I'll go get that fan, see if that'll slide on there. Yeah, we do it 3 times here to get it right. Anyway, I guess that fan has to go on there before the rest of it goes on. And I've been wondering what this is for. This has been here for a while. So it goes on here like that. So I'll get the fan on, take this off again, get the fan on, put this back in, and maybe I'll get the, I wonder if I should take a look at that shroud too. Oh, hopefully the shroud will go in and out without too much trouble. Yeah, I think it sort of just clips on the top here. Anyway, well, get the fan on. Yeah, so pretty near went for the do it 4 times instead of just 2. Like, so I've had this radiator, I put it in once, fit okay. Took it out, and then I noticed that these were not very pretty, so I put a little bit of black paint on these edges here, clean them off, put a bit of black paint on, stuck it back in, right? That's number 2. This wouldn't go on, of course. So then I had that mounted onto there, and I said to myself, well, how's that going to turn? So I had to go find the fan. So I've got the fan, the pulley, found that in the other shop, and everything gets the aerosol overhaul, but that looks pretty good now. It was all messy and rusty and ugly. But now I'll let that dry a bit, put it on, then I'll get the radiator in, then I'll hook up the transmission lines. Holy boy. There, fan and pulley's on there. That's good news. Now it's not too tough to get the radiator in and out of here. So I guess I'll put it in for time number 3 now anyhow. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3. See if I can get it in. Here. Maybe watch this time, eh? What the hell? Wait till I get set up here. Somewhere where you can see stuff. Oh dear. Right here's where it goes. Yeah, there's room between the fan and red. That's a good sign. Or that's a sign. Yeah, that looks like it's all right. There's room there between the fan. Now there's 2 more bolts that go down in the bottom here, but I didn't figure you needed to watch me do that. So, and I think there's room to get a fan belt on there. I hope so anyhow. So that's this one here. This pulley here drives the alternator, and that pulley down there, the second one in, drives the air pump, I think. I don't know whether that air pump is on that one or that one. One of them, anyhow. We'll figure that out later. Yeah, there. That's hooked on there, hooked on there. Then I slid the air pump up here. There's lots of room for the air pump to fit in ahead of that. I think it hooks onto that pulley there, the most inside one. Anyway, that's okay. Then up here, what am I doing? Now this, I'll figure out how this thing here gets all together, and then I found a couple more of these clamps, so I think they go up above on the wall of the car. I think I see the spots where they go, so that'd be good to get that clamped on. Then I'm not really sure. That's got to be, I think, turned upward. There's something else clamps onto that thing eventually, but we'll find out. That'll be an adventure to find out what goes on there. Just sort of all goes together. I didn't take this car apart, so I do a lot of guessing about what goes where. And sometimes, you know, parts just sort of fit only in one place. So that makes it easy, but for sometimes you really gotta, you know, scratch your head a bunch. And I don't have much head left to scratch here. So now I'm gonna put in the tube. There's a tube that goes from here to fill up the transmission. And I'll put some oil into the transmission. Yeah, so here's the tube. I've cleaned it off some. It was kind of, the top end here was rusty, but the rest of it was pretty good. Just a little bit of dirt and grease on it. So cleaned off. Now I'll see how it goes up here. That light right in your eye? Yeah, likely. Anyhow, right into here. I've got a new O-ring in there, so what I'll do is I'll put a bunch of grease on the end of that and then slide the thing in there. Yeah, so it goes up way over there, and I put another O-ring down here. There's an O-ring inside here. It doesn't seem to fit, like it's a fairly slack fit there. So I put another O-ring underneath here, and then I think that that'll push down on it when I hook it onto that bolt up there. We'll just see what happens. Yeah, it calls for Dextron, which is just Dextron right there. And I'm going to put 2 quarts in it, or 2 liters, well, 2 quarts I guess it is. And that's pretty close to, like it says in the book, that when you change the oil in it, the capacity is 4.5 liters. But when you change the oils, you only put in 1.75 liters. Now, I'm a little bit in between the change oil because I've got oil in the what do you call that thing? The torque converter. But no oil in the pan. Now I'll just see if this leaks when it gets in there. Now that's 2 quarts. Well, in a minute here it'll be 2 quarts. There we go. So I'll just put this aside for a bit and let it drain back in there. Oh, wait a minute. I'm coming. There. Okay, 2 quarts in there. See how much that shows on the dippy stick. Yeah, it says that's right at the full line. Amazing. Anyway, but I imagine that once it starts pumping some oil in there, it'll fill up. I hope it'll fill up the whatever you call that thing, the torque converter. Then I'll top up the oil on here. Well, first I'll have a look underneath and see if it's leaking. Okay, I'll put it up and see. Okay, here it is, and it's not draining out anyhow. Not leaking there, which is where I thought it might leak. Wonder if I tightened that. I think I did. Don't think I loosened that. Not leaking out any of those things there, but I don't expect it would until such time as it gets some fluid into them. Because there's no fluid in all that up to the radiator and back. Okay, well let's see if I can get it to pump some fluid around. I've got the transmission in park, like that. That's in park. Won't move. And So now I'll put the starter in and see if I can make it turn over a little bit. Okay, well, it's 5 o'clock, so I've had enough for today. Starter motor. Looks like it just should slide in there, right? No. I have to take that out of the way. Maybe if I take that bracket off in there. I'm not sure. But then the other thing that I have going on is this bracket here, which is the kick down for the transmission. It has to go on top of the motor mount there. So that's going to be a pain, because that motor mount's a pain. Anyway, I guess we'll get at it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. That and that. Well. Anyway, that's nothing like doing things 3 or 4 times. This thing's going, so that's all right. Small victories. Yeah, there. Now, last night when I was trying to put the starter in there, I couldn't get it in. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I must have been just tired out. Because this morning or today, it's not morning anymore. Today I went in there and it just fell right into place without any trouble. Now, I still have to, I'll show you how I got to take it. I have to take it out. Got to take it out. I have to take it out. So I'll just take it out of there and show you what's going on. How it went in, how it comes out. So I just was able to wing it in there like that. No problem. So that's how it goes, right? But remember I was talking about this thing here. This part here. Yeah, that has to go on there. So hopefully I'll be able to get that onto there, and then I'll see the 2 bolts right there? It's got to go on those 2 bolts. Anyhow, hopefully I'll be able to get that on there, and then we'll see about getting the starter put back in again. Yeah. 1 hour or so later, maybe an hour and a half, I finally have that. Oh, that bracket there on. Now we'll see if the starter motor will slide in around that. We'll see. Oops. Yeah, so it wouldn't go in around that bracket here, and like it just doesn't have room. And so automatic transmission is different from standard. The standard transmission, you can just slide it in there. So I had to take off, well, didn't have to, but I took off this oil thing here. So I'll just put that back on. Then I'll put the motor back, put that back on, and I'll put the, whatever you call that thing, the bolts in the starter. I think that's all I have to do now. Oh boy. Who would have thought that would be so difficult? Anyhow, starter's in, the oil filter holder bracket is back on it. There is supposed to be another bracket in there for the starter. Don't know. Anyhow, and I've got the motor mounts tightened up again. Joy. That was a joy to do. Hey, this thing here, I bent it around to see if I can make it work better, but no. And then this thing right here, there's a, I don't know, can you see that thing? I've got my hand right there. That hooks onto that bolt there, so I have to take that bolt out and put that bolt back in. But that comes from down below, so I'll make it a bit easier on my life if I go down there. Anyhow, oh, there. Okay, oh, I got my helper with me here. Now, I've temporarily put the battery in. I made a new connector here. I've got my trigger. Oh, there's the trigger right there. Now I'll hold the, just put you here. I'll hold the, that light on there just to see the oil pressure goes, and then I'm going to turn it over a bunch to get some oil circulating in the transmission. See what happens. No oil pressure yet. Oil pressure now. Let it rest for a minute. Starter's not even hot. Now, there now, I'll just check the transmission fluid and see what happened there, if anything. Oh yeah, it's gone down. Just at the very bottom of the stick, so it needs a couple of quarts. I'll put some transmission fluid in it and then we'll run her a bit more. Okay, I put another quart of transmission fluid in it. 1 quart. So now I've put in 3 quarts since we put the new stuff in here. Might be a bit high now. Now it's above the fill line by, can you see this? Here's the fill line, here's where it's at right now. So it might be a pint too much in there. But anyway, I'll run it around a bit more, spin the motor off some more and see if that'll keep circulating. Here we go. Takes a minute for it to drop off the, now. There now, I'll check it now and see what it says. Yeah, it's just a 1/4 inch over the full line now, so I think I'm happy with that, and I do believe that it's filling up the system. So I won't run it over anymore on the starter now. I'll just leave that in there. I'm going to put it up and see if it's leaking anywhere underneath, right? Hang on. Okay, now no leaking around there. No leaking around there. No leaking on the hoses that I can tell. So that's a good sign. No leaking around the pan. Nothing's dripping out of here yet. I think that seal must be holding okay. And nothing leaking out of the speedometer cable. So, should I put it in a gear and turn it over a bunch? Don't know. Can't really tell. That'd be first gear there. Don't know what would happen if I did that. We'll see. I've got the starter switch down here. I'll have a look at this, see what happens if I turn it over. I wanted to turn a little bit there, eh? Now I'm gonna that's park. Whoops, that'll be first. Park. That'd be reverse, right? Try reverse. Turned a little tiny bit the other way. It's going to take a while to fill up all the diodes, I guess, and everything. I'm not sure what happens in there. There might be some electric stuff in there that has to happen too. Yeah, you can hear some fluid making its way in there. Don't know what's supposed to happen on those things, but something's happening anyhow. That's a good sign. Okay, now I'll put it back to park. Park would be like when you push all the way ahead, park it all the way this way. That locks it. Okay, locked up there. Okay, now, I think that's all for today anyhow. Yeah, I gotta go. Got places to go. So, see you tomorrow perhaps. Yeah, it's still today. Yeah, so, I pulled out that dipstick once again, and it's right exactly on the full mark right now after running through some gears there. So maybe that pumped some oil through there. And I'll see tomorrow if there's anything leaking. I'll wait till then. Okay, see ya. Okay, so put a ground strap to the frame here. From the battery, the negative would be right there. And from the frame here over to the motor, so we're all grounded up. Now I'm going to put it up and see if I can fit the drive shaft on there, because I think that's the final piece of the puzzle here for drivetrain, right? Yeah, so the missing Lego pieces. These two bolts here, there's two carriage bolts go in there, which are not, they're metric ones and likely not very standard. So I've found a couple of normal size, like imperial bolts that fit there, and I'll put them on. But I had to grind down the head on them so that they fit into the slot here. Anyhow, so they go to hold what's called the steady bearing, which is that part right there. Now I'll see if I can get this thing up here. I'll see what happens. Okay, so there's the donut. I just stuck that on like that so that it's there. I pretty near forgot it. That arrow points to that arrow, so that means that U-joint's the right way around. There's no grease zerk on it, so that's fine. And this must be correct. Like it has to be the right way, or else you get resonance in the machine. So must be okay. It's got to be okay. It came from the factory, right? Who knows? Anyway, now I'll see if I can slide it up into place here. I don't know if I can put you somewhere where you can watch all this, or yeah, maybe I'll put the ladder up. Hang on. Fell down already. So, see what happens here. Now it would appear that I have to drop the back of the motor here so that that thing has a straight shot. Can you see anything there? No. So there's a straight shot to get onto that, or a reasonably straight shot. Maybe I can finagle it on there. We'll just see. Do a little bit of jiggering with it and see what happens. Anyway, I'll get back to you soon. Oh dear, why is it not straight? Why is it such an angle there? Aha! Upside down. Yeah, we like to do it twice. Or is that what I say? Yeah, we do it right. We get it right because we do it twice. Okay, I'll see if I can get that turned around without losing the... I've got the bolts into here. I don't know if you can... Kind of dark up here, but those bolts just in there loose. Then if I need some adjustment, there is adjustment here. I can loosen these and those, and then that'll be able to move the differential back and forth a bit, and then it's just on rubber mounts here. So we'll just see what I have to do. I put it, when I was putting it together, I just put it where it was from the, you know, factory marks that were on it, or the marks that were on it. Now this is a different drive shaft, so it might be different. Okay, there, I've got that on and snug. They're not tightened down yet. I haven't, just putting things on snug. So that's that end of it done, right? Then I've got these things just up into about there. Haven't got them tightened down yet. Now I'll tighten down these, and then I'll see about pushing that forward a bit to put a little bit of preload on that maybe. Not really sure what you're supposed to do with that. Anyway, they talked about preload on something, but I don't know. Maybe I'll look in the book and see before I tighten stuff down. Right? Okay, I'll look in the book. Yeah, so you tighten the back ones first, which I did. Then you tighten up these ones here, and you have to be careful not to twist the rubber bits. So hold that still, tighten that bolt, hold this still, tighten that bolt. That idea. So, and then this preload is here on this. You just give this a little push forward at 2 millimeters. Like, it's not much. That's 2 millimeters right there, right? Just to put a bit of preload on this rubber, and it's just a rubber bushing here, so it keeps the spring pushed this way. This part here is, I think it's a sliding shaft in there. I don't know for sure. Anyway, the way the picture is, it looks like a sliding shaft in there, but who knows? Yeah, it must be, because this thing here is to tighten it up, and I do believe that's tight already. It says in the book not to tighten that until after it's all in, but it came from the factory that way, so we're just going to be happy with it. Okay, all right, now I'll tighten these things up and see what happens. Okay, there you go. That's in, and it looks straight-ish, is it? Hard to say. I think it's pretty straight. It'll might have to go that way a tiny bit, but this side here is solid. That one won't move. You can make it straight up and down by shimming it a bit here, but you can't make any change on that really. It will move, like that's adjustable there. But anyway, I guess it's the way it is. And it seems to, everything seems to line up here. Then this is a sliding shaft, and it pulled out a little bit to allow that. That was when I first tightened that. That light's just right in your eye. Now it's right in the wrong spot. When I first tightened this, it was wobbly. Well, it's still a little bit wobbly, and so I pushed ahead on this just to make this come forward a bit. And it's got a spring inside there to keep it, you know, to keep it tight. And then then I did that little bit of preload I did on here after I got that pushed ahead where I thought it was correct. Then I put that bit of preload, just 2 millimeters, which is, you know, 5 times the size of a washer. You know, that's 2 millimeters, or maybe 2 washers is 2 millimeters. It was a different kind of holder here before, but this was what came on this thing. I might have a different one around. I don't know. I think I ordered one just in case. So I do have somewhere on this planet, there's another bearing for that thing. Wonder where I put it. Somewhere safe. Anyway, but I think that's it for this week. The things went along, you know, reasonably well. Only had to do a couple of things twice, I think. And that's getting to be pretty normal. So, hope you enjoyed it all. I'll hopefully see you next week. Bye now. And the good news is that there was no dripping on the floor from the transmission anywhere, so something must be okay. We hope so. We'll just give it a while and see what happens. Okay, bye. Well, I think it's the 17th of July. Sounds like there's people on the beach. Doesn't happen very often that I have people on the beach when I'm here. Oh, it sounds like there's a golf cart coming with the high-speed travelers. That was the noise I heard. Anyway, here we are. Oh, and there's Lauren out there. And a couple of boats. One person on the beach.